Hi baby, I thought I would give you a bit of a fall tour. We are at Awenda Park. I don't know if you can see the valley down there with all the colors. And that's Georgian Bay, the blue part. This is a pretty popular provincial park. You've been here with me before in the spring. Lots of gold and red and green. And blue from the bay. The leaves are a little bit late falling this year because of the, I'm assuming, overly warm fall. We haven't had a lot of frost. Ooh, tripped on a rock. Oops. Now we gotta take a detour to get to the truck. I did a bit of gardening this morning after chatting with you. There's the truck. Lots of spider webs here. And now we will continue our tour with a bit of a drive.
Vehicle hit a cement pole which snapped into two. Then it crushed a Bell payphone. Sergeant Duncan Miller says speed was a factor.
The car was broken in half. The rear of the vehicle is over in the Coachella station behind me, and the front end of the car and the passenger compartment is located in this other strip mall here. The driver's compartment is crushed.
He says fire crews had to pull the 25-year-old driver out of the car. He was transported to Sunnybrook Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Police say they are looking for witnesses and investigating all possible causes, including street racing. Toxicology tests will determine whether alcohol was a factor. Lucy Lopez, CBC News, Toronto.
Meanwhile, another deadly crash late last night, this one in Vaughan. A 19-year-old passenger was killed when the car she was riding in veered off the road and hit a hydro pole at Dufferin and Major Mackenzie. Duty Inspector Shelley Rogers describes how it unfolded.
The vehicle lost control when they came back into the lane and ended up into the ditch and hitting the hydro pole. So the sad thing about this tragedy is that we do have one of the passengers in the vehicle that is deceased.
The driver also has serious injuries. Another passenger has been released from hospital. Police are investigating what caused the car to veer off the road. Fire took the life of a man in Mississauga last night. Emergency crews were called to a 6th floor of a building on Dixie just south of the QEW. They found an apartment filled with smoke. The man was found dead on the floor near the kitchen. Here's Peel Region Constable Thomas Rattan.
It appears at this point that he was cooking and something took place which caused the fire. Police officer and security guard at the scene did sustain injuries. They were taken to a hospital and released later after treatment for smoke inhalation.
The Ontario Fire Marshal's Office is investigating. There's concern at Toronto's Pearson Airport this afternoon about another potential strike. Air Canada's flight attendants have rejected a tentative contract deal, and they're ready to walk out as early as Thursday. As CBC Toronto's Trevor Dunn reports, travelers are hoping it doesn't come to that.
David Yaffe is flying to Vancouver today and coming back to Toronto this weekend.
On a very tight schedule. I'm coming back for a series of all-day meetings the last 2 weeks, and I have to be here for it, so I don't have an option to change my dates.
Air Canada has introduced a flexible rebooking policy in case a strike happens. Yaffe's not interested.
I just can't take the risk. So lucky for me, WestJet flies out of my neighborhood, so I take that as an alternative.
A strike by Air Canada's 6,800 flight attendants would likely cause major disruptions. The airline and union have yet to comment, besides a pair of dueling statements released late yesterday. Air Canada says it's disappointed the deal was rejected. This is the second time that's happened in the past 3 months. The union says that shows just how frustrated flight attendants are with the company. It's also asking the federal government not to intervene. But Ottawa forced Air Canada's service staff back to work just a few days into a walkout this summer. And Labour Minister Lisa Raitt tells CBC News a work stoppage in this fragile economy is unacceptable. Trevor Dunn, CBC News, Toronto.
Canadian stock markets are closed for Thanksgiving, but investors may just have something to be thankful for when the markets reopen tomorrow. World markets are rallying today with new developments in the effort to resolve the European debt crisis. Jeannie Lee has the details.
A burst
You're
of
on the
hope
news.
today on world markets after a pledge from German Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President Nicolas Sarkozy to, quote, do everything necessary to keep European banks flush with capital so they don't run the risk of running out of money, collapsing, and bringing down other banks. In effect, neutralizing the dreaded contagion before it spreads. Few specifics from the leaders except a firm deadline, a plan by November 3rd when the G20 world leaders next meet. But the markets are being buoyed by that and the promise of a, quote, durable solution to Greece's massive debt problems. And a sense that finally the other Eurozone leaders will be convinced by those in the two biggest economies to take the tough and fast action needed to finally deal with this 19-month-long crisis. Jeannie Lee, CBC News, Toronto.
On this Thanksgiving Monday, not everything is open. Most major grocery stores, as well as LCBO and beer stores, are closed. Most malls are closed, with the exception of the Eaton Centre, Vaughan Mills, Square One, and the Pacific Mall. TTC and GO Transit are running on holiday schedules today. Well, the weather forecast now for Toronto: sunny skies this afternoon with the high near 25 degrees. Tonight, a few clouds and the low near 13. Tuesday, sunny and the high near 23. And that's the news. I'm Connie Sinclair.
Welcome to a special Thanksgiving edition of your noon show here on CBC Radio 1. I'm Adrienne Lamb. This is a day many of us gather with friends and family to give thanks. Today we're looking at a city thankful for something you might not expect. A war. Canada's decade-long mission in Afghanistan. Edmonton,
And that was your drive through Awenda Park. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you soon, baby.